Hey, you guys. The note on the table here says, energies flow to you or are emanating from you. And I think there's that back and forth all the time. But in the cards, that happens. It's sometimes a little hard to tell in a reading, is this what's coming toward me, or is this what's coming toward the other guy? There almost always is another guy, at least one. For all of us, you know, we're such a network. And that's the other thing I wanted to say is, with the business of energies, please know that you're contributing to this. You're here. You're here at the table. You're here at the table. You know, there'd be no reading without you guys. So don't underestimate your power in whatever this is. And of course, feel free to say, no, that's not my reading. And it, in that case, isn't. You're the filter. But you're here at the table. Yeah, I think that's it for now. Let's see what comes up. Three of Pentacles, here at the table. A card of cooperation. In 3D. I mean, what we're doing here is, I don't know, a combination of kind of 3D and the technology and so forth, but also what we're cooperating in is with the what can't be seen, the ineffable, the 5D sort of situation. But this is something we build, and we build it together with our real lives. Pentacles energy. All right. What are we building? Something really wanted to come out. Six of Pentacles. Well, again, doubling down on that idea. These two people are getting together to, well, spill the tea. I mean, there's an aspect of this. We'll share with each other. We'll share information. We'll share our stories. Things to do with our lives. Not in this alone. And there's something about this little person up on the tea spout. It may be these two people getting together to talk about this other person who's very much a part of the conversation, even though they're not there in the 3D. Something to do with spilling the tea. Okay. You know, it's an equal energy exchange. It's like, I'll share my life with you, you share your life with me. It entails a certain transparency. Five of Pentacles, the exact opposite. Being out in the cold, being left on your own. You know, as if it's time wasted, this withering flower. Pentacles speak to time and value, and something was undervalued or not valued at all. Five of Pentacles, Six of Pentacles. It might be that one of these people is spilling the tea, talking about how they were left out in the cold, and there's the person who's really not there, but is the subject of the conversation. Yeah, Five of Pentacles. Okay. Chariot, under Three of Pentacles. It's a card of fast-moving energy in the psyche, but it's at a snail's pace. There's forward movement, maybe away from this. You know, I think that there's like a little help from my friends' energy in this. like somebody saying, I was left out in the cold, but in fact, they're in a place of, you know, in reality, they're in good company. This may have been in the past. This may have been 5 years ago. Somebody's finally telling what happened to them and kind of rebuilding a bridge or rebuilding trust or rebuilding the idea that justice. 2 cards of balance right next to each other. I mean, the Chariot doesn't move forward. Usually shows, in most depictions of Chariot, there are 2 things pulling the Chariot. Here there's one thing, one driver, one vehicle, and it's a snail. And it's come out of the shell. It's showing itself. Whatever emotional energy, a card of Cancer. And I think the fact that the snail image is repeated on this person's head like a slow acceptance of what went down. But 2 cards of balance. This is Libra energy. Like if both wheels aren't turning, you're not going anywhere. And this speaks to relationship, clarity about a relationship, about the need for, or the desire for, or the belief in equilibrium in a balanced relationship. Balanced. You tell me your story, I'll tell you mine. And part of what we share with our friends is what's happened to us that hurt. 5 of Pentacles, not a comfortable energy. It's like what this person had to offer in the past was ignored by somebody else. The flower wilted. It was left out in the cold. But now, not in the cold, because you can talk about it with the people who are actually present in your life. Pentacles energy. So there's emotional forward movement. And there's, in the realm of sword energy, of the intellect, of understanding, of speech, of the relationship between this and that. There's an equilibrium that's achieved. Card of Libra. So the mind and the heart, basically. We're in Libra time. And it can also be kind of like a karmic justice or a wrong being righted somehow. Things can now move forward emotionally. 10 of Cups. I'll say, this is kind of as good as it gets. Moving toward equilibrium in a relationship. It's slow forward movement. Pentacles are very slow. The whole top row is Pentacles energy. And they're slow, in part at least, because it's life. It isn't like poof. It isn't like at the speed of thought. It's how we do it in 3D. That's the tricky part. But it's movement toward a great emotional fulfillment. Not this, I'm out in the cold by myself. A wrong is righted. A kind of slow maturation, because Pentacles are about growth. When you're in 3D, when you have to build something or rebuild something, it takes time. That's another Pentacles attribute. On Chariot, Hermit. Another major arcana. You know, we got a lot of them suddenly, hard-hitting energies of, well, this is Virgo, this is Pentacles energy. Pentacles energy. You know, Hermit is a card in some ways of isolation. Not like this, but this may have prompted this. You know, this is isolation, you know, out in the cold, freezing cold, where is everybody? And this is that capacity to turn inward. It's a 9 card, the individual energy. 9s usually speak to the personal, the individual. This is wisdom from within. And I think sometimes when we've been in this place and we have a chance to process it by talking to somebody else, because it's a common experience. I mean, are all of us left out in the cold at some point or other? You know, talking about it can give us the strength to carry on. You know, there's wisdom to be gleaned when your alone time is used in the service of your spirituality. Like I go into my self, into my, sort of like the inner cave of the, of course this is the lighthouse, and it looks suspiciously like the tower, you know, with this little opening. The fish out of water. Hermit, the wisdom. But what is it about the fish out of water? Because these guys are, this is sort of fish energy, right? She has the kind of octopus tail, and he has the dolphin or whale tail. They're both creatures of the water. They're completely steeped in emotion. On 10 of Cups, strength. The courage to overcome something. 4 major arcana. And all around this, love and connection. Really important relationship that I think at one point may have been not an important relationship because somebody like pretended it wasn't. You know, it may have been that this was their person and for some reason they didn't want to acknowledge it. But this is a card of compassion and a certain kind of union between these two. Could be internal, you know, between your compassionate self and your beast, the beast within. To have compassion for yourself is so important, particularly if you want to get to this place. Compassion for each other. We're going to talk about that. And be present with each other. Pentacles energy. I'm here with you. You're not alone. Not alone. On 3 of Pentacles. King of Swords. In the feminine aspect. So it's sort of a King of Swords, Queen of Swords duality. It's all about being smart, being discerning, knowing what's what. King of Swords is quite, I step back from it in order to understand it. Queen of Swords would be more like, I know what's right for me. I speak the truth and I expect it from you. And there's something about this, the stars, you know, it's very orderly, and then suddenly, woo, they They don't quite track anymore. Like it's no longer an analytical, linear truth. It's more about this kind of truth. The internal. How to stay grounded in the world while being a spirit. What is that? I'm a spiritual being having an earthly experience. That's a bit this. You know, I want to move forward emotionally with somebody, but I don't want to lose myself or lose my ground in this relationship. Sword energy again. And I'm getting this wash of heat, like, I don't know, it's pretty strange. Page of Wands, well, there's the heat. Wands energy, fire energy. And this is about, ordinarily we might think of Page of Swords as looking into something, but here's this one with the magnifying glass. It's like getting focused, taking a closer look, you know. Where'd you go? What happened? You know, I'm left with the kind of mystery, this Sherlock Holmes garb, looking for the evidence. What happened? Because now, suddenly I was here by myself. Page of Wands is also like a card of curiosity and discovery. It's a little bit like turning the absence into getting re-empowered, Wands energy, by looking into something. Not being afraid to look into something. And to look inward as well. This can be like abandonment. And I was going to say abandonment issues, but that seems dismissive to me. This person for real, Pentacles energy, was left with limited, you know, that maybe resources, that maybe all their money drained away. And now they have to rebuild, and they're getting help to do so. Tell me about justice, the righting of the wrong, or the regained equilibrium, strength, justice. 10 of Cups, Chariot, Hermit. I mean, this is quite a stunning turn of events. On justice, we have Ace of Cups. So we have the Ace to the 10, you know, the full cycle. And it may be some kind of cycle that's being renewed. Page of Wands can be the new path, a path of discovery. Can be a card of self-love. Maybe both parties in this relationship, justice, in order to understand it, you know, to answer the question, to get focused, to kind of dig in a bit, starts with not how did the other person treat me, but how do I treat myself? If somebody puts me out in the cold, does that mean I'm of no value? Both of value. There is connection. And the Page of Wands might be discovering a way forward, Wands energy. You know, where do we go next? What do we do next? What is the path? I have to focus now. Because this can put you in a place of like, I can't focus at all on anything but the cold, but the abandonment. But once you come to terms with it, to a degree, you're able to talk to other people about it. get mutual support, then we're able to look at how do we move forward. In fire energy, Leo, in fire energy, have compassion for ourselves and for the other person. Perhaps both people felt out in the cold. And this here, the King of Wands has the needle to stitch it back together, but it's an ongoing process, and it's not entirely linear. There's some kind of breakout energy. Tell us about Six of Pentacles, the spilling the tea, sharing lives, sharing information, talking. Is that the breakout energy? Yeah, I'd say so. We have the Fool, also fire energy, the card of the new beginning, which is sort of redundant, new beginning, but it may be a second chance somehow. Three of Wands, but not right now. This is a card of in the future. You know, these long, long braids. And it's a little bit like, you know, the story of Rapunzel, who was in the tower, and the prince who loved her said, let down your long hair, and the prince could climb up her braids into the tower. And all these buildings again, and this tower reference. And I think the hermit person, there may be a bit of hesitation. You know, I'm open to that possibility. I'm open to the new path, the new beginning. But in the future, you know, it couldn't come together right now, except the universe is saying, right now. You know, at least on the level of deep knowing, how you know yourself. And there's so much underground here, right? But it's being propelled forward. And the light on the end of the dragon's tail, and the light on the end of the sword. You know, it might be realizing it's time. It's time to take the leap. I get it now, King of Swords. And first off, I'm going to step into my own life, my own fire energy, maybe prompted by some sort of exchange or conversation about what you've been through. But also to begin again, to trust other people, to talk about what's happened to us. Let down your long hair. You know, because hermit energy is, it's introspective. It's not really isolated, but it's focusing on your own heart's core. Okay. Give us one more on Ace of Cups, Justice, Ten of Wands. Like down to the, because Ten of Wands is usually a card of burden, of laying down a burden. Here it's flowers. It's sort of like trying to close out the cycle, but not without getting every bit of sweetness out of the situation. So we have Page of Wands, 10 of Wands, Ace of Cups, 10 of Cups. It's like there's renewal. The sweetness. What does the King of Swords know about this new cooperative energy? The ability to rebuild. Because there was a Five of Pentacles situation. That there was, at some point, there was no cooperation at all. Somebody was out in the cold. Hangman. You know, there's great movement kind of down below. The ability to get a new perspective. That the Hangman is sort of that. Let me look at it from the other guy's perspective. Almost from every angle. It's a card of Pisces, of feelings, like Cancer. Slow forward movement. All these pentacles, slow. And this is the need to process things emotionally. I think once somebody comes back into the world, into cooperation with other people, this King of Swords, who may have had like a stand back attitude, a little bit aloof, a little bit cold, is being put in a position you know, it's kind of like, hold up, you're not going anywhere until you process these feelings. And is it worth it? Yes. Ace of Cups to the 10 of Cups. Strength card. It's going to take some courage to look at it, though. What did happen to this person? Magician. I'm going to get one more. It's a card of manifestation. Maybe the need to go into the suspension in order to have the emotions mature. Sort of like the, you know, we're not ready yet. We're almost there. We're kind of unzipping. Now, this is to me a cocoon-like energy. While I process feelings, I'm removing myself. I'm not moving. I'm not engaging. I'm busy, like the caterpillar in the cocoon. And it's opening. It's being unzipped. What are we manifesting? Hierophant. I mean, we've got so many major arcana here. This is a big deal. This is the wisdom of the ancestors, is how I read this particular depiction. You know, the wise old owl who's got the kind of the book of life. The teacher, the guru, the representation of the divine on earth. A 5 card, a card of change. This emerging energy, the chrysalis energy. Tell us about Magician. Card of Virgo, Gemini. As above, so below. We process our feelings. Then we can manifest, perhaps just manifest wisdom. The wisdom of the ancestors. You know, but we don't get it except we go inside. That's kind of the necessary precondition. And it's possible that when this person felt abandoned, maybe was abandoned, it opened up a kind of spiritual, and I know that's happened with me, when I've been by myself and feeling alone and out in the cold, that's when this thing kicks in. You know, that higher perspective, the spiritual perspective. the new perspective. The necessary precondition to going back out into the world with some sort of wisdom and purpose and something stable. This is a card of Taurus, Hierophant. Earth energy. Magician is Gemini, Virgo. So it's kind of pulling into 3D on the basis of understanding what you feel about something. Some kind of higher level of commitment to yourself and to your 10 of Cups person. What's the higher level of commitment look like? Energies flow to you and emanate from you. 6 of Swords. It's really transporting you to a better place, a calmer place. And again, the light. I mean, it's sword energy, so it's understanding something that allows for forward movement. Might be leaving the place of isolation to go out into the world with curiosity and a willingness to discover. Because, the hermit goes into retreat and always comes back into life. It's earth energy. Let down your long hair. There's something about not staying in the tower for too long, and it may be time. The psyche may be ripe and ready to come out of the cold. Hierophant, Magician, Hangman, Hermit, Chariot, Justice, Strength. Very hard-hitting, deep energies that allow for this forward movement. Something's really changed in the way King of Swords thinks about things and how it liberates them. Knight of Cups on 6 of Swords, love on the move. Somebody playing on the heartstrings. Perhaps moving forward to a place where you can even believe sword energy, that somebody might love you, that you might be able to love them back, that the emotions can come into alignment. Get on the same page. Eight of Wands, incoming. Communication, conversation. Something that gets us back in the flow. Don't really quite understand. I feel like I haven't gotten a grip on this yet. What do I need? What do you need? What do we need in order to get back in the flow? Get a grip on it. I mean, this person is hanging very, is hanging on to these, they're airborne. It's back in the flow, but it's like hang on tight. We're on the move. We're on the move. Both these characters are up in the air. I think there's a lot still unresolved. And whatever this conversation is, because there are 2 cards of like spilling the tea, of sharing conversation. It also, 8 of Wands can be travel. 6 of Swords, travel. Knight of Cups, love on the move. Things are warming up, Wands energy. And if they haven't yet, it's like right around the corner. Could be 3 days. Time is slippery in tarot, so it's not like a tick-tock situation where exactly when something will unfold, and it'll be different for everybody. Two of Swords. Here's a block. Here's an impasse. Here's somebody unable to decide. It's so long that the birds have made a home in this person's hat. So it's really considering the pros and the cons. Two of Pentacles. Considering the pros and the cons. A choice, a decision, like Two of Swords. There's something about the balance point here, though. And again, atop the building. In Pentacles energy, in Earth energy, atop the building, there may be a need, or there was a need, to really stand back before we can rebuild something. Three of Pentacles. Three of Pentacles, Three of Wands, 3 and 3 is 6 in Major Arcana. 6 is Lovers. Five of Cups. I mean, yeah, there would be reason to consider, because there was hurt here. Again, this Five of Cups, a card of unhappiness. You know, trying to weigh up, is this really for me? Missed opportunities. Has it already somehow floated by? You know, the flower was left abandoned for so long, it died. Yeah, somebody's holding back. You know, there's definitely a boundary up. Four of Pentacles, Five of Pentacles. You know, you left me out in the cold. Now I'll show you the same. You can't get access to my life, my Pentacles. And she's holding the house this time. It's like taking back her life, or taking back control. Perhaps this person overgave. I mean, there's a lock on every other. I mean, this gate is pretty well locked up. So tell me about the keys to the lock. The truth that needs to be told. Tell us about the truth that needs to be told that might unlock this person's heart, or this person's desire to even talk again. Okay, and I saw that before and I didn't take it. Ten of Pentacles. Somebody wants to invest for the long term, and the other person is not sure, because they were abandoned at some point. They were left on their own. And I think on their own, with a little help from their friends, they managed to get back into life, get back into the swing of things. To find support. Six of Pentacles. That's tangible help. And it may have inspired this person to take the leap, to begin again, to step into their own lives. Ace of Pentacles. So we have the Ace to the 10 right there, right next to each other. The new beginning. The culmination. You know, the thing that's beginning to grow, and the thing that could mature into, you know, the tree with all these rings from this sprout. the full cycle. Somebody's hesitant to recommit to that. And there's no reason why they should. It's all about choice, you know. The choice is definitely yours. Five of Wands. I think there's something about feeling that you got played, this chessboard, not in the sense of like somebody was trying to dupe you, but there was some kind of strategy here. You know, I'll make this move, you make that move. And it's Five of Wands. That's usually a card of like too many chefs in the kitchen, too many fingers in the pie. But there was a bit of manipulation involved. And I'm also hearing like rearranging the chairs on the Titanic. You know, trying to decide the next move. Queen of Swords. We have the King and the Queen. Sorry, I've got the hiccups now. You know, she has the telescope. She'd look into it. She'd expect the truth. She'd speak the truth, and she'd expect it back. You know, I'll tell you about my life, Pentacles energy. You tell me about yours. It's an equal exchange. You know, it's not, no more of this. I'm on a new path, a path of discovery. It might well lead me, you know, to boldly go, to take the risk, to take the leap. And I think there's a preparation energy in this. It may be almost like I have to get my ducks in a row, my house in order, because Five of Wands is a little bit of a chaotic energy. You know, what do I do next would be this person's question. The new path. It depends on truth. I mean, it depends on a clear and honest communication and understanding. Like if you're in the dark, if you're left all by yourself, how are you supposed to suss it out? And the instruction is this way. Turn this sort of abandonment and isolation into a real soul searching. This is a card of high spirituality. You know, Virgo is the sage of the tarot. I'll use my time alone well and in service of love. Ace of Cups, Ten of Cups, strength. You know, I get my strength from within. And it also then gives me compassion for the other person. And I think somebody will be eager to say, when you're holding back, or when they were holding back, or both. I mean, the boundary was up. The boundary was up and it was padlocked. And then there's this energy of, you know, the new beginning and sharing lives. Ten of Pentacles. This person it took years. long enough for Rapunzel to grow the long braids and for this guy to grow the beard. And I think maybe they may have been holding back because they had other responsibilities. These folks down here. You know, it could be family or career or something they'd invested a lot of time in. And now perhaps it's time for the new thing. And I notice that the fern that's growing has that same kind of fractal thing going on as the Chariot card. You know, the growth looks like this. It isn't an obvious A, B, C, D. It's sort of like it has to be reinvented. There needs to be a new understanding, new way to communicate. I mean, these two are a match. And it could go the distance, 10 of Pentacles. It's a highly spiritual relationship that perhaps somebody is just now ready for. Their emotions have matured to the point where they can actually move forward. They've closed out a cycle. You know, there's now a chance for new love. The beginning and the end of the cycle. That's, I mean, it seems to be repeating it again and again. Self-love, I mean, there's none of this connection, Libra, relationship, balance, business, if both parties aren't coming from a place of self-love. You know, the need to heal the abandonment, whatever because something went wrong here. But in that time, in the alone time, this person, perhaps a Virgo, really, really used the time well. You know, it's like not all is lost. There are years ahead, more rings on the tree, more growth, more stability, more investment, more of this. Time to invest in each other, time to talk. And I can't see, I mean, there was a time of indecision and sort of strategy, like what's my next move? And I think the time, you know, it's time to kind of do it or give it up. Take the leap, you know, summon the courage, the fire energy of Fool and of Strength, both cards of Leo. You're not alone. You don't have to be alone. You know, nor do you have to give up your independence. I mean, Hermit is an independent energy. But it's right on the card of emotional forward movement with the implication with somebody else. And now that I look at it, the treads on the wheels of the chariot look very much like the braids on this person, on Rapunzel's hair. There's some kind of, it took a long time, but things are getting integrated. They're being braided together. Conversation about love, forward movement in sword energy that advances the cause to a calmer place. Perhaps out of this 5 of Wands, 4 of Pentacles, like stalemate. I mean, this could be the stalemate. Stalemate is being broken. I like that idea of forward movement out of the stalemate. Once there's recovery from whatever bad thing happened maybe 5 years ago, and it's taken time to sort it out. Five of Wands is a card of working it out. A time of standing back and, getting clear about something. What's the next move? And I think the next move is love on the move. Somebody's coming in to have a conversation about, they're going to clear the air. Clear the air, right? Wherever Queen of Swords went. Yeah, clear the air. It will clear the air. It will bring a resolution to some kind of cycle that was up in the air. Because suddenly one person was alone. The other person may have ghosted without an explanation. Incoming explanation, conversation. And it's not one person just saying, this is why I did what I did. It's also the other party saying, this is how it made me feel. How do you feel about how I feel? It's dialogue. Dialogue isn't possible when this is happening. The dialogue becomes between the person and their own spirit, their own inner guidance, their own inner sage. I think now there's a chance to move forward, but it's a choice. Two of Pentacles, Two of Swords. Like, take your time to consider the next move. Don't let anybody pressure you into, and Queen of Swords would no more let anybody pressure her than fly. She knows herself. She knows her truth. And I think King of Swords has learned something too from this whole experience. The possibility of being able to knit it back together, to rebuild it. Three of Pentacles, King of Swords, with this needle that they're going to, if there was a tear in the relationship or in the fabric of space-time, things are getting aligned. That sounds very kind of woo-woo, but there's a lot of woo-woo in this reading. We have on the board Pisces and Hangman, Virgo, Gemini in the Magician, Taurus and Hierophant, Virgo again in the Hermit, Cancer in Chariot, Aries in the Fool, the New Beginning, Libra in the Justice card, the season we're in now. This may take place, this may unfold between imminently, like perhaps even in a few days. It's on its way in. And by Aries time, it's full on go time. But I think there'll be a lot of talking it out first. Till, there's mutual understanding, Justice card, about this relationship. Both parties on the same page. Both parties not left in the dark or out in the cold. Compassion for each other. And open communication. So Libra, have I left Leo in Strength? I think that's it. Yeah, a whole lot of new cycles on the way that are dependent upon introspection, processing feelings, conscious, being aware of what you're manifesting and taking the cue from your higher power. And it has to do with learning how to do it. Learning, there's a kind of irony in that we have to love while we're learning how to love. We're not popping into the world with a whole kind of playbook on how to do it. It's something we have to work out. We have to love while we're learning to love. And it starts with self-love. And out of that springs Ace of Cups to Ten of Cups to Strength card. Overcoming obstacles, basically together. Getting strength from each other. I think it's possible. I think it's possible. Ace of Pentacles, there's great potential energy here for something that goes the distance. And Queen of Swords, that's what she's interested in with her telescope. About the future, about, you know, being clear about where I'm going and where you're going, and do we match up? And I think there's a potential for that, right? Clarity, balance, understanding, communication between these two. And it starts now. And it starts with self-love. That's where it starts. You know, love is the beginning, love is the destination. And I'll see you next time.